Quantrill makes his way into Kansas on the 20th of August, and this begins our story. Meanwhile, back in Lawrence, hey, we've heard this story before, Quantrill's coming, yeah, but you're all familiar with the Cry Wolf story and the complacency that comes with that. And again, if you think back to 9/11, Pearl Harbor, well, color me surprised, why did the Japanese attack and how did Al-Qaeda pull off that event? I think Quantrill kind of falls into this in a similar vein. His ability to use his capabilities successfully, but it's the element of surprise. Even in the middle of a war, that Quantrill can get to Lawrence without, he's detected, but he's not disturbed in his pursuit. Many of you are familiar with the route. We're not going to spend much time on this. He enters south of Aubrey, Spring Hill, Gardner, into Lawrence, gets there about dawn, roughly 5 o'clock on the morning of the 21st, spends a couple hours there doing his thing, takes his men and heads south toward Brooklyn, past Baldwin, not into Baldwin, but around it, toward Paola, and will be back in Missouri on the morning of the 22nd. This is a long journey. The horses, the men are physically exhausted, okay, as a result of this, but so is the U.S. Army. They have the same limitations as Quantrill. Everybody's operating on 1 horsepower at this point. And he who has the better horses tends to do better, and Quantrill certainly does at this point. These are the numbers. You've heard them before, you've seen them. I don't know if we'll ever get an exact number of guerrillas, an exact number killed in Lawrence, or the total property damage, but these are the figures that most of you are fairly familiar with. Of course, another side note to the Quantrill story is he makes his way at night into Kansas. So there's a need for guides. They do rally up a few farmers. Unfortunately for them, they're killed. Because the fear is, hey, if you go tell somebody, Lawrence will be alerted, and then where will we be? So it's a very brutal, very harsh way of conducting warfare, but that was the way it was, certainly in August of 1863. But this is what I think differentiates the Lawrence raid from any other, whether it's Osceola or any other, is the sheer scope and scale of the attack. No one, according to a local Laurentian, expected such an indiscriminate slaughter. Yes, we expect perhaps to be raided, to be plundered, perhaps a few deaths, but not anything approaching 200. Where the dividing line between raid and massacre is, I'm not sure, but that's part of the debate and why so many people, I think, are interested in Quantrill's raid.